Hey there, everybody. How's it going? I went to Vietnam a few months ago. It was a great trip overall. I was in Hanoi and went around to some of the surrounding villages, but overall, I was mainly in Hanoi. So, here's some videos, here's some photos from that. Also, just a quick side note I know I look a little bit disheveled right now, but I'm actually moving. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. I'm back from Korea, and I'll be moving out to LA here soon. So, yeah, without further ado, here is the video. I apologize in advance. I have a few of these sort of editor's note videos sprinkled throughout the video that you're going to see. However, I say the word "this" about 80 times throughout the upcoming video. So I do apologize. I might get better about it in the future. Without further ado, please enjoy my trip. Hotel that I stayed at in downtown Hanoi, very spacious, very beautiful oak insides. Mountain that I climbed up, there was actually two, but that was the nicer view. This is my whole group that I went on this day trip with, and we made, it was, what was it? It was like incense, and we got to make these really cool hats too. It was just super fun. The whole thing was just really, really awesome. Downtown Hanoi, some motorbikes there. These were the incense burner things. Yeah, that's each one is an incense burner. That's where they were actually making the incense. Smelled like Vietnam. Me with my hat and my incense, as you can see. Again, more Vietnamese red incense stuff. Driving around, coming back from that, one thing that you'll notice is the lack of traffic laws. Well, they're actually stopped right there, to be fair. The motorists are doing a good job, but look at all the communist symbols. So they love communism here and love Ho Chi Minh and kind of view the war against the French, the Americans, and the Chinese as these massive victories. But yeah, just absolute chaos downtown. Again, more cars. Man, the traffic here was just, traffic laws didn't mean anything. Hey there, so quick editor's note. In the 1980s, Vietnam, I believe it was 1980 or 1981, Vietnam had officially transitioned to a fully communist country, right? So they had the planned economy, they had very strict labor laws, output laws, the whole nine yards, and it went horribly. It was terrible, and they had mass starvation, they had issues just with the government, they had all sorts of things. And so by 1986, their government had to actually just redo the entire thing. There's a word for it. I'll put it up here on the screen. But essentially, what had happened was nowadays Vietnam is still very much politically a communist country. They have very strict free speech laws. They have very strict, you can't criticize the government, and there's no free elections, anything like that. But economically, they're actually very capitalist. They're very pro-capitalism. And so this was something that I found really ironic because going around the place, you see these, the hammer and sickles. You see this communist stuff, and it is just kind of funny because Vietnam is a shining example of a country that, communism didn't really work out for them. So yeah, anyways, just thought that was kind of interesting. Look more into it if you want to, but I just found that to be kind of, I don't know, a little bit ironic. Big lake that my hotel was right across from the lake, but I was out getting some McDonald's, and the McDonald's was pretty decent in Vietnam. I mean, it was okay, all things considered. There's some people, I had to edit out the audio due to copyright stuff. Yeah, Chukmun, whatever, yeah, McDonald's. Oh, and these are some old ladies dancing here. It just had people dancing around the place. Don't know what was going on. This was a shrine that I went to, and it's on that same river. The lights are pretty bright here, as you can see. But that was the entrance to the shrine. I had to pay a few dollars to get in, but I think it was worth it. Incense place. Vietnamese people love their incense. Actually, a turtle, funny enough, that is dead, and it was one of the last ones of their kind. There's some kind of myth that goes on with the turtle, but yeah, I just thought that it was kind of interesting to see how revered that these two turtles were that they had on display. She was a worker at the shrine that was burning things for some sort of ritual or ceremony. Funny shirts in a shop that I saw. KJU. Motorbikes outside of my house. Just very pleasant. And then here we are riding bicycles to this other shrine. This was with one of my other tour groups. And yeah, absolute mountains. Of course, we got passed a lot by the motorbikes. This was on the outside of the other shrine that we saw, and this was again with the tour group. Woman with her hat outside of a ritual temple, I think it was. And then that was sort of inside the temple. On top of one of the mountains that we went hiking up, we did a few hikes. Serene area at the top of the hike. This is actually where they shot the movie, or you'll see it in a minute, but where they shot the movie Kong Skull Island. So we're going around here, and we got to paddle, and it was me and this Japanese guy named Sota. We became really good friends, but he sat next to me on the tour, and yeah, just us all paddling around, seeing the place. Inside of a cave, we got to paddle through a few caves. Inside another cave. This is actually from the movie. There's like a scene in particular in the movie. I'm not going to show it. And then on top, yeah, there's a mountain that we hiked up again. Stone statue temple. I don't know what you want. Food. This was good food. It was very expensive in Vietnamese terms, but it was good. Just kind of a thing that made me giggle a little cackle. Night markets. Yeah, so these were, the food markets. I don't know if you'd call them wet markets, but there's a bunch of those little cats that are waving that are solar powered. Yeah, and I'm trying to be discreet because I don't want people to light me on fire and kiss me. And then that's just it from another angle. Kind of crazy to see. How difficult it is to cross the street. You just keep walking. I mean, this is it, right? You just keep walking. And the cars kind of go around you and you sort of avoid them. And it's almost like this dance that you have to do just to cross the street. I mean, no one pays attention to these lights at all. Painting store. Yeah, there's some cool paintings here. So another quick editor's note. When I went to the museum here, the Vietnamese, like the war one, which you'll see in these upcoming clips, it was some sort of like school field trip day for everybody kind of involved. And there's just kids flooded. I've never seen this many kids in my life at a place like this. It was crazy. Every corner I went to, I was just getting harassed. I was getting talked to. They were nice, but it was just very, very annoying. So yeah, you'll see that coming up. Just a flood of kids. I picked the worst possible time to go there as a foreigner. Hello. As you can see, I had to say hello to everybody. Just absolute fest. Here's some guns. Here's some planes that they used during the Vietnam War, and a tank, missile launcher, whatever it is. Again, more artillery cannons. They got to kill those darn Yanks. Just the outside. Man, this place was absolutely massive. It reminded me of a scene from Dune, like the new one with Timothy Chalamet. Yeah. Bunch of yellow hat kids. This is me when I got back, just along the street. Taking some video. That's actually, they were serving dog there. Yeah, you'll see it here in a second. But there's dogs, chicken that they were eating. Yep, and then that's the dog cart. Believe it or not, asked if I could take a photo. Riding on the back of one of the scooters, just showing you the chaos of the traffic. Man, I was holding on to that guy for dear life. Man, I thought we were going to get hit. Sort of a cyberpunk-y-ish photo I took. It was actually outside a club. There was a club right downstairs, but this was a bar out top. And just, I mean, going across that bridge, it doesn't really look like it, but a lot of the lights were orangish, and it was just so serene being there. People down below, there's a lot of water, but there was also some land. People were burning trash. There's a bunch of trash burners down there. Not what I expected. And the air quality, if you can't see, is pretty disgusting, but the bar itself was really nice. This was inside a club, had to remove the audio for copyright, but I actually ripped my pants because I was dancing so much and loved it. Had some guys come up and take some photos with me, give me some compliments. So, super quick little story. Actually, in that club that you just saw, I was trying to leave. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and when I was going, the doors were closed, right? And there was a bouncer standing in the front, so I walked up to try to go out, and he kind of pushes me back and says, "No, you can't go out," in his Vietnamese. And I was really confused. And then this Australian guy walks up to me a few seconds later, and he goes, "I might. So they're out there paying off the cops." And I looked through the little door thing because the guy stood back a little bit, and sure enough, there was the police standing around them. And yeah, they were actually paying off the police, because what I learned later, what they'll do in Vietnam is the police are kind of corrupt there, so they will hit up a lot of the common like foreigner bars, and if they find anything illegal, they arrest the bar owners, the members, the random foreigners there, and yeah, so the bouncers and everyone pretty much have to pay up to the police there. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is some Grand Theft Auto style stuff. But yeah, and then this next video clip you'll see is just me walking outside. After I did make it out, I was only stuck there for about 5 minutes. But man, I could not leave because they were busy paying off the cops. No music, again, for copyright, but this street was so loud. I mean, and this was right after I got out of the club, so there was actually a bunch of just clubs and just foreigners everywhere down the street. I mean, this was truly, it was hectic. My hotel inside, very, very nice. Some food. This was one of the tours that we actually did, where we went around to a bunch of these nice restaurants, and then this was a cafe. Yeah, cafe. Cat. We were waiting for a train. So you will see this girl. I'm going to throw a picture of her up real quick in my next video. You can't really see her too long, but she was actually our tour guide for the food tour that I ended up doing, that I was just showing you the photos of. And this is kind of funny. She was very attractive, very nice, very young. But as we're walking around, I'm just asking, her name was Khan, by the way. So I'm asking Khan, I'm like, hey, how long have you been a tour guide for? How long have you been doing this? And she's very nice, very friendly. But then out of the blue, out of nowhere, she starts telling me all of this crazy stuff about how, like, she doesn't know if she'll ever get married. She doesn't, do things with guys before marriage, even though she was raised in a conservative family. She's not religious, and just starts telling me all these details about her personal life. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's fine. I have nothing against it. But it was just kind of out there. And I said, why are you telling me all this? And she told me, hey, because I don't know. It just feels good to get it off my chest. So, Con, wherever you are, thanks for telling me all that stuff. She said it wasn't confidential, so I'm not breaking anything by telling you guys. But yeah, she opened up to me a lot about her personal background without me asking. So, and relationship stuff. So I don't know what was going on there, but I wish her all the best. There's a train that runs through here, but everyone kind of goes along the tracks before it comes. This was part of our tour, and it came from the opposite direction. There's some people, there's Con. And yeah, I mean, just so many restaurants. I walked up and down the tracks, people from all different countries. That guy was really cool. Going home on a scooter. This is my last day. I actually had to go to the airport late at night, but take a look at my guy weaving through this area of people. Beautiful, man. That was my Hanoi trip. This was me going back on the plane, and I got home really early in the morning, I guess you could say. So I was looking at this view quite a bit. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day.